Welcome to Listen Up. So in this video we are going to talk about SAG and SAG calculation. What is SAG and how to calculate SAG? A flexible conductor with a uniform cross section when strung between two supports like this. If a flexible conductor strung between two supports and the difference in level between the point of support at this point, okay, so the difference in level between the point of support and the lowest point on the conductor, this point, so the lowest point of the conductor is called as sag. Okay, now the factor affect this sag are: first, weight of the conductor, which is directly proportional to sag. Next, length of the span. Length of the span is directly proportional to sag, or we can tell as sag is directly proportional to square of the length of a span. This is the length of a span. Okay. The length of a span is the span between two support. Next, tensile strength. Tensile strength is inversely proportional to sag, because more you get force here, the tensile strength will get increased and you will experience low sag. More you tighten this conductor, you will get more tensile strength and you will experience less sag. Next, temperature. As you know, this conductor is made up of aluminium. So according to property of aluminium, it can change, it can expand or contract according to temperature. If temperature rises, the length of the conductor will get increased and you will get more sag. The sag calculation are made according to: first, when the line support are at same level. If you have two support which is at same level, then you will experience a sag between this, and at middle of the span you will experience a minimum height of a conductor. When the line support are at different level, generally we see in hilly areas. So if line support are at different level, you will experience a sag like this. Okay, so you will not get the minimum height of the conductor, you will not get at middle of the span. It can move left or right. Okay, so it depend upon the height of the conductor, it depend on the position of the support. Now third is, conductor is subjected to wind and ice coating. Now first is conductor is subjected to wind. If this is a conductor which is placed between two support, okay, so obviously this will experience some sag. Okay, so this is called vertical sag. Okay. If you place a conductor between two support, you will experience a vertical sag. This is a vertical sag. But if a cross section area of a conductor experience wind, then it can move like this, right? So this is called horizontal sag. So if the conductor is subjected to wind, it can experience a horizontal sag, and due to ice coating it can experience a vertical sag, because due to ice coating the weight of the conductor will get increased, and we all know that weight of the conductor is a factor which affects the sag in a overhead line. Now first is when the line support are at same level. In this case we need to consider line laid on a plain ground. Okay, the total weight of the conductor will be concentrated at the middle of the line. At this point we can tell that at this point sag is maximum. So for this we need to consider conductor portion OA or OB. Okay, any one portion you need to consider. The conductor OB is not linear, as we can see in this diagram. The conductor OB is not linear, so we will consider a linear point. Suppose we have considered a point P whose ordinates are x and y. Now we consider this portion as a linear. We take this portion as linear. Now the total weight of this portion will act at middle of the line, that is at x by 2. The portion of curve OP are subjected with one vertical force, that is W into x, and one horizontal force at tension T. Under this condition, the portion of curve OP maintain mechanical equilibrium, that is horizontal force into y should be equal to vertical force which is acting at middle of the line. So the distance between this point and the middle of the portion OP is x by 2. So the vertical force is Wx into span, that is x by 2. So you will get T into y is equal to Wx square by 2. Now we will extend this point at B. So if you extend this point at B, this x become L by 2 and this y become sag. So x become L by 2 and y become sag. Okay, sag is a difference between this point and minimum height of the conductor. Okay, point of support and minimum height of the conductor, this is called sag. Okay, so y will be equal to s. Now we will put this value in this equation. We will get T into s should be equal to W L square by 8 and sag will be W L square by 8 T. Now when the supports are at different level, as we can see, this support is placed here and the next second support are placed at this position. Now the span between these two support is L, height of this support is H1, height of second support from the ground is H2. This is the sag experienced by second pole and this is the sag experienced from first pole. Now to calculate sag, as I got in previous section, that sag is equal to weight into x square by 2t. Okay. This y is equal to weight into x square by 2t. So y for the first support, y is s1 and x is x1. So we will put it here. For the first support, y is s1 and x is x1. So we will get s1 is equal to W x1 square divided by 2t. From second pole, y is s2 and x is x2. x2 is actually, this is x2, the difference between the minimum point of the conductor and the second support, okay, which is equal to L minus x1. So if we put this in this equation, we will get S2 is equal to weight into x2 square divided by 2t. Now if I write S2 minus h1, which is height of this support minus height of this support, is equal to h, okay, which should be equal to height of this sag, length of height of this sag minus height of this sag, okay. So if you subtract this height of the second support and height of the first support, you will get some height, this, and similarly with the sag, the difference between these two sag is h. So we can write S2 minus h is equal to S2 minus h1 is equal to S2 minus s1. So h can be written as S2 minus s1, this minus this. So we will get W x2 square divided by 2t minus W x1 square divided by 2t. So we will get W by 2t x2 minus x1, x2 square minus x1. Now if we expand this equation, we will get x2 minus x1, x2 plus x1, that is a square minus b square, into W by 2t is equal to h. Since what is x1 plus x2? x1 plus x2 is L, length of span. So we will write x2 plus x1 is equal to L. So we will get x2 minus x1 is equal to 2ht divided by L into W. So we got two equation, one is this and second one is this. If we subtract these two equation, x1 will get cancelled out. So we will get 2x2 equal to 2ht by WL plus L. Now we can write x2 is equal to st by WL plus L by 2. Similarly, what will be x1? x1 will be equal to see, we have calculated x2, that is L by 2, that is half of the span is somewhere here, right? We get half of the span somewhere here. So this moved in this direction. So x2 is equal to L by 2 plus st divided by WL, right? So the expand is more. This is L by 2. This is L by 2. So the remaining will be st by WL. So according to this, what will be x1? x1 will be L by 2 minus L by 2 minus ht by WL. Now next is with wind and ice coating. Suppose this is support for a conductor. Now in hilly areas, conductor are subjected to crosswind and ice coating, okay. So suppose this is the conductor in this direction, okay, and this is support. This is support and this is conductor. So due to ice coating, there will be some ice on the conductor, and this conductor will experience a weight in downward direction to the earth, towards earth. This is earth plane. Okay, so due to ice coating, this conductor will experience a force in downward direction, right, because of weight of the ice and weight of the conductor. And with a crosswind, if this conductor experience a crosswind, then it will experience one more force which is in this direction, horizontal direction. So this conductor experience a force in vertical direction, as well as this conductor experience a force in horizontal direction due to crosswind. So under this condition, the axial position of the conductor is not parallel to earth. Okay, right now it is parallel to earth, but due to this condition, the axial position of a conductor is not parallel to earth, and it is shifted by an angle. Okay, so due to ice and weight of the conductor, it experiences a force downward, that is ice weight plus conductor weight, and due to crosswind, this conductor experiences a force in horizontal direction, that is due to wind. So the axial position will not remain parallel to earth, it will shifted by some angle which is represented by theta. We need to calculate the effective weight, because one weight is forcing in downward direction and another weight is forcing in horizontal direction. Now this will be the effective weight, and with this weight sag is calculated, is called as slant sag, which have two component, one is vertical component, another is horizontal component. The total weight of the conductor should be equal to under root of weight of ice plus weight of conductor whole square plus weight due to weight experienced by wind square. Now this angle theta should be equal to tan inverse of weight of wind, weight experienced due to wind, divided by weight of conductor plus weight of ice. Now slant sag will be equal to the resultant weight into L square divided by 8T. So this slant sag have two component. One sag you experience in vertical position, another sag you will experience in horizontal position. So the horizontal sag should be equal to slant sag into sin theta, and vertical sag should be equal to slant sag into cos theta. Okay, according to trigonometric equations. In next video we will see few questions related to this topic. Thank you.